How's it going, everyone? Today we're going to be talking about all the units that you should be using for the next upcoming Kage League. Now, there's so many different types of teams that you can go ahead and try to use, but I'm going to be focusing on the main units that you should be using and just my best advice for like type of units that you should be bringing, and hopefully you guys will get something out of this video from that. So, first of all, one simple thing that I always like to do, because I personally feel like I'm not that good at PvP in this game, that is what it is. So one good thing is you can always go ahead, and if you're confused, you can go ahead and just look at what people are running, because strangely enough, even though the PvP meta in Blazing is kind of cancerous, I mean, you can always see what unit is going to be featured. So like about 2 Kage Leagues ago, you didn't see anybody running Tobirama because there was no Tobirama. So if you wanted to know where he fit, all you had to do was go up here and look at where people were, and you could easily see where they're putting them. So I always recommend looking at the top teams. That'll give you a good idea of what it is. So, this is just a really good way to go ahead and find them. And a lot of these units that I'm going to be talking about are actually on most of these teams. So that should go to show you. So, alright, let's go ahead and talk about the units that I believe you should be taking. Because, yeah, they're definitely, pretty self-explanatory, especially because you got to take the boost into account. During the Kage League, it's going to be similar to this, where we're going to have body boost of elemental type by 500. So body units are actually doing so much damage, it's actually crazy. So this is the team I was just using the other day, but once we get to the Kage League, I might change it up. So starting off with Kaguya. You guys have been seeing me use this Kaguya all week long. She's insane, and it's just because she just pushes them back so far, man. A lot of you guys have been pulling her as well. I've seen so many people pull this Kaguya, so I think it's safe in saying if you have her, go ahead and throw her on your team. Like what are you doing? Throw her on. I don't have her any duped up at all. I might change that before the Kage League, I don't know. But this Kaguya is really good. She's probably the best body blazing bash unit in my opinion for this Kage League. I mean, maybe Naruto you could say, but I think this Kaguya is, just better for right now, because she does do a lot of damage, but just sending them back is oh so important, I'm going to be skipping over units like Minato and Tobirama, because that's pretty self-explanatory. I don't have Blazing Bash Tobirama, but I do have 5 Kage Minato. If you have Tobirama, throw him on. Like, that's the thing. Also, like, a lot of people always ask me, what can I substitute my team for when it comes to this type of stuff, and sadly you really can't most of the time. Like, welcome to Blazing. The meta is very specific most of the time, and it's usually pretty cancerous. It'll change with updates here and there, like when we got Kaguya this week, and now she's part of the meta too. But like, yeah, you can't really make those type of substitutes. Like for me, for instance, when I run into someone with a max duped Tobirama, I'm done. It just is what it is. There's nothing I can do about that. So yeah, I recommend that. And then another body unit, of course, this is pretty self-explanatory as well, Final Valley Sasuke. My Final Valley Sasuke doesn't even have these dupes, but obviously if you have them, he's gonna be packing a punch. I'm pretty sure this Sasuke, with that body attack boost right now, and after getting his limit break, can one-shot 5 Kage Minato, and that's pretty crazy. So you can literally, if you're able to get out onto the field with this Sasuke, you can go ahead and destroy Minato, and that's actually pretty crazy. So he does so much damage. This man right here is actually probably the biggest threat when it comes to body damage, in my opinion. But yeah, and then another unit, of course, you guys already know, the Blazing Bash Naruto, the unit that has eluded me for so long, the Blazing Bash Sage of 6 Paths Naruto. And it's gonna be really cool to see if people actually are still running him, because I feel like not that many people are using him, because most people, they have a setup where they have Minato and Tobirama, they're gonna have Kaguya, they're gonna have Sasuke, and then probably Final Valley Sasuke. Like, in my opinion, I would rather run the Final Valley Sasuke than Blazing Bash Naruto, just because he doesn't have a lot of health. And all these units, you need a lot of health for your team. That's usually what kind of screws me over in the end. That's why bringing Sasuke is not a bad idea, because he's got 51k health, Kaguya's got 55k health. So those type of things are self-explanatory, and those are both body units. Of course, you can bring other units that aren't just body. I'm not saying stack your whole team with body. In fact, I actually think there's one unit that you can try to bring depending on your team setup, especially if you have Tobirama, and that is going to be, of course, 5 Kage Hinata. I think she's a really good unit. The only reason I don't use her is, again, my team setup doesn't really allow it, because you need to take advantage of that sync skill where you don't sync with long range to nullify immobilization, and I personally don't have Tobirama, so I can't throw Tobirama, Gaara, and then her out there, and then, she's safe from that. So that's exactly why I don't use her. But she's really good, obviously, and she's a skill unit, so she's going to do a lot of damage to any body unit. Even Kaguya at that point, she can go ahead and Chakra Seal, and or, switch sealed him as well, which is really good. So yeah, pairing her also with the Gaara is a good thing. Another unit that I was gonna talk about too, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory, is my boy 5 Kage League Gaara right here, because everybody's gonna be running him. If you don't have Kaguya, then you can use this man. That's usually what I do, but with Kaguya out right now, I just haven't really been using this Gaara as much because I could just send them back rather than switching them out, you know what I mean? So that's what I've been personally doing. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna be using this man in the Kage League. I'm pretty safe in saying, and you know, a lot of you are obviously going to as well, because this man, I mean, if you haven't gotten it by now, the body type units are the way to go here, because that's just who you want. That's just who you want to be taking, you know? And a lot of skill units might be coming out. Like, I have seen some people running skill units, but most of the high tier teams, you're not going to see that. You're going to see probably Tomiyama and then Minato in the middle row. And unfortunately, you know, you're just going to have to win that speed tie. But the teams are pretty self-explanatory, I feel like I'm safe in saying here. I just really thought that, you know, I should talk about it because, you know, a lot of people are always asking me what units they should use, and a really good thing to do is just, like I said, just check the teams up here. Like, another one, Tsunade right there. You see a lot of Tsunade, and everybody's team's different, you know? That's what I like about Blazing. Even though the meta's cancerous, you can see people running around with teams that don't necessarily have, you know, like Tomiyama, for instance. Like, look at all these teams. These people do fantastically well, and they don't even have it. Hashirama, that's another unit that I was also going to talk about, but I feel like a lot of you might not have grinded it up. But if you did, then he might actually be worth taking. I mean, I personally don't want to take him, but I feel like it's not the worst thing in the world. He has some decent health and some decent speed, so that's pretty good. And that's without speed pills and all that put into this man right here, max limit broken. And his first jutsu has a chance of speed reducing, so that's pretty good. I mean, that is kind of like part of the meta now, you know, just sending units back, slowing them down. So you can do this, especially because nullifying immobilization is very prevalent, but you still don't have anything that can really stop you from being sent back or having your speed decreased. So yeah, if you want to take this Hashirama, then that's actually not a bad idea. He has a pretty good range, and at the same time, he's also, you know, AoE, so that's really good, because what you could do is you could come in with Kaguya, and then you can go ahead and then use Hashirama and slow them down even more if you want. And yeah, and the ranges are both very similar, so I feel like that's good. You can definitely take this Hashirama if you want. The only problem is let's be honest, slowing someone down on the speed gauge for a free-to-play unit, it's never that great. And he does nullify mobilization though by 45%, so that's also very good. And you can also make it where he gets less jutsu ceiling, but I don't know all the Senju clan units you'd be taking, but you can take it with body, so that's pretty good. So this man, he does have his uses on PvP, but I really wouldn't recommend it over someone else like Kaguya or the next unit that I'm talking about, which is not free to play. Alright, so the last unit I'm going to be talking about is actually one of like the earliest body units out of this video probably, except for maybe Final Valley Sasuke and 5 Kage Gaara, because Kaguya and Hashirama are cool and all, but before them we actually had this man right here, and I talked about him before because he's actually really good for PvP in my opinion. So if you don't know, this Sasuke, he's still over here in the banner, and it's about to go away today. So actually, I don't blame you if you don't have this man. If you already pulled him, then it is what it is, but he is going away, so you know, you might not have him. But if you do, I don't need to tell you that this man is insane. I made a video talking about how I thought he was a counter to the anniversary, and it's because I feel like he is. So his first jutsu is a 3-6 tiger. It only hits one enemy, unfortunately, but it can land jutsu sealing and switch sealing, which is really good because you can go ahead and try to jutsu seal that Sasuke, the anniversary Sasuke, or maybe a Kaguya if she's out onto the field. If she doesn't have that ability or something, it is a 70% chance, so that's not bad. And you can get chakra resets out here too, and he has a mobilization and or jutsu sealing resistance. So this man right here straight counters anniversary Sasuke. And just because body units are running around, don't get it twisted. There's going to be plenty of anniversary Sasukes, on my team included, so you're going to be running into them. But even more than that, what I think is important is the fact that this man's sync skills, if you sync, you know, with body, you're going to be having a chance to dodge, and that's actually pretty important nowadays because that damage is going to be crucial when it comes to Final Valley Sasuke. He can't ignore dodging, so that's going to be very good. And he has 40k health with 300 and something speed roughly without speed pills, so that's pretty good. I really recommend bringing this man if you're able to, because he's got some really good like field and body skills here too. by just boosting the attack and all that and reducing damage. That's pretty good for PvP, but even more than that, his jutsu is pretty good as well. So if you have this man, go ahead and take him, and I'm sure in saying he'll do a lot of damage. But yeah, that's probably gonna be it. You know, there's so many units you can take, and like I said, everybody's usually flexible with what they can bring and what they can't bring, but this is just my 2 cents on who I feel like you should bring, and we'll just have to see how the Kage League's looking as well. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.